TruckWorld TV, sponsored by Auto Trader Trucks.
Hello and welcome to another episode of TruckWorld TV from our home from home, that is Junction 38 services here on the M6.
Yeah, but before we get into it, Rob, I would like to say thanks very much for all your messages on the website and on Facebook. And also don't forget, you can also contact us on Twitter at TruckWorld_TV.
Well, as ever, it's a very busy show for you, and here's what we've got coming up this week.
We take a behind-the-scenes look into the massive industry of parcel delivery. Our road test is an all-new visitor to UK roads, and this week's driver chats is about the use of alternative fuels.
Now, some people still in this day and age seem to think that the trucks are dirty, smelly and horrible, but green and efficiency is one of the bywords, and that even goes down to the tyres. Now, because this report didn't really require a passport, it wasn't sun shining, I thought we might as well send Rob on this job. So there he goes, off for an investigation.
Now, in this day and age, when you see stacks of used tyres like these, you're probably thinking it's a hard-hitting documentary to show that these are just burnt or destroyed to help kill some rainforest, but absolutely not, because the tyre retreading company that we've come to today, this is their starting point, because they take these used tyres and make them into brand new ones. Now, quick word about my failing voice. The fact that I can't speak very well is great for Tim and the crew, they're very happy, but it's not good for telling you guys facts and figures about the amazing process that goes on here. But it is so technical once we get inside, we're actually going to have a guide, an expert with us to talk us through it, which means more interesting facts for you and less of me yapping on.
We've come to Bandvulc in Devon, who are the largest truck tyre retreader in the UK. They've been keeping trucks on the road for over 40 years, and they produce over 200,000 tyres a year with more than 100 different tread types. Helping us today is their director, Ryan O'Connell.
So Ryan, the easy stuff I get, people collect their old tyres, they get brought here, left outside, and then they're brought in, and then we start to see computers and fancy machines, and I get lost. So what's going on here?
So the first part of any retreading process is an initial inspection. Yeah. This is where an inspector will both visually check the tyre and perform a tactile inspection while actually feeling around the tyre.
Yeah, so when they're doing that with their hands? And
correct, yeah. So they'll actually be feeling for any bulges or ridges, which may indicate that the tyre may fail during the actual retreading process.
Okay, and then obviously there's a computer involved in a barcode. So.
Correct, yeah. So all the information which is on the side of the tyre will be entered into the computer system, and that will live through the whole life of the tyre through the retreading process. And that will be used for such as the curing process and the buffing process, which we'll see later.
And what happens at this stage if, I guess, a tyre can fail here, can't it?
A tyre can fail at this stage and can fail through any stage of the manufacturing process. We've got strict guidelines that we have to follow. In terms of the load speed rating, the tyres are tested to the same standards as a new tyre.
Right, and if it does fail here, it goes off to be ground down?
Correct, yeah. So it will be sent off for scrap, and that will be granulated down and recycled. So you'll see those bits of tyres made to use such things as school playgrounds.
After the manual inspection is the first shography scan of the tyre, where a high-tech computer and camera system looks inside the carcass to pick up on any problems that the naked eye can't see. Once the tyre's given the all clear, it's scanned and sent on to the buffing area.
So Ryan, the buffing area, this to me just looks like, I guess, a lathe, is it? It starts to dig into the tyre a bit more.
Correct, yes, yeah. After the initial inspection, we'll remove all the remaining tread from the top of the tyre and around the sidewalls as well. We use that, as you say, for a lathe device. So we've got rafts going all the way around the circumference of the tyre, down to the beads. And all that rubber that is removed from the tyre is then sucked up with giant fans up into a system where it's then bagged and then further recycled. And this then prepares the tyre for the next stage.
The now bare tyres are about ready to accept a new tread surface, but before that, you guessed it, there's more safety and quality checks in the Camelot-themed inspection bays, where any surface imperfections are filled with liquid rubber, buffed, and then sent on to what we think is one of the coolest machines in the factory.
Now, of course, all these tyres have actually got metal in them to make the structure, but this machine, Ryan, when we see it arcing, it's not actually anything to do with the metal inside.
No. So what we're looking for at this stage, we're looking for any pinholes going actually through the tyre itself. And a perfect way of testing for that is by trying to pass current through the tyre. So we put a probe into the tyre, and they'll say if electricity passes through the tyre itself, we'll then see an arc and we'll see a flash. So if we see a flash within the tyre, it will be then further ejected. And of course, any pinholes, any holes in the tyre itself could be quite hazardous. So again, at this stage, the tyre could be rejected, as with any stage. But of course, the next stage after this, looking at the building process and the curing process, is an expensive operation. So it's vital to make sure that any tyres are rejected here.
The lucky tyres that do make it to this stage are now ready for a new blank tread to be applied, and again, we're treated to a remarkable machine at work. Flat belts of raw tread material are manipulated into perfectly uniform and continuous lengths of rubber pipe, which is glued onto the tyre across its entire road-going surface.
Now, this isn't a giant racing tyre or a slick for a truck. It is in fact the last stage before we get that tread put in that is instantly recognisable then as a truck tyre. And they do that in these enormous tyre presses. Now, one of the reasons why it's so hot down here is they actually heat the tyres up to 150 degrees, and then they use over 250 psi to push the mould and the sidings in, so you get one complete brand new tyre with the tread that you wanted depending on the end application.
There's a huge selection of tread options available, so whether the tyre is for a tractor unit, a trailer, on-road or for a construction site, these boys can make it. Once the tyre is cooled enough to handle, any excess rubber is trimmed away before a final range of quality and safety checks to ensure that any tyre leaving the factory is absolutely fit for purpose.
And the last stage in here, and the reason these innocuous looking booths, the reasons we've got these in. When we were in yesterday, we did hear a tyre go bang. We were the other side and you could feel, I guess, what do you do? Just inflate them way past what they should be? And
Correct, yeah. So we'll inflate the tyre above the working pressure as to what it will go out on the road. And that's vitally important because, say, the next time the tyre leaves here, it will be fitted by a tyre fitter. And it's vital that tyre is 100% safe and conforms to regulation.
So what is the sort of failure rate, or I guess natural progression?
So for the whole retread process from start to finish, you could be rejecting over 40% of the tyres you're receiving in, depending on the in-service vehicle damage.
But once they pass through here and finally get into the sort of stock area, they are good to go. No more tests. No more tests, no. And the only test for the next is the customer's satisfaction. And there you have it, from zero to hero. Old used tyres come in at one end, brand new tyres come out the other end, and they're averaging every 2.5 minutes a new tyre produced. Absolutely amazing process, and it almost makes you tired just thinking about it. Whoa, what's wrong with that? Tired? Just never.
Now, Tim, question for you. I know, obviously, that you've totally ignored my last 15 birthdays, but hypothetically, if you wanted to make amends with that and send me a really nice surprise gift, in this day and age, how would you do that?
Well, apart from throwing it at you.
No, I imagine I'm a bit further away than that.
Then I'd probably send it by a courier.
That's the right answer, and that leads us very nicely and very unrehearsedly into our next feature.
As we've seen throughout this series, it's often the more boring, mundane things we take for granted, where the commercial vehicle is actually doing all the hard work behind the scenes. Take, for instance, sending a parcel. Not this parcel here, I want to send it to my good friend, Rob. And I use that word very, very lightly indeed. So, what do I need? I need a courier. Thank you very much indeed. I believe the next stop is going to be Bolton. The UK parcel market is estimated to be worth over £8 billion, and chances are every one of you out there would have had something delivered by a UK parcel company this week. With billions of parcels crisscrossing the UK every second, it's no surprise that careful logistics, hard work and plenty of commercial vehicles are needed to keep everything going. Delivering Rob's present today is the team from Hermes, and from the initial pickup by the local courier in his Citroen van, the parcel is taken to a local sorting hub, this one in Bolton. Once the parcel is scanned in, it's quickly allocated to an outgoing 7.5 tonne hub truck and sent on its way. Join us after the break to see the amazing technology involved at the next step of the delivery process.
TruckWorld TV, sponsored by Auto Trader Trucks.